That's the doorbell at Jimmy's house. Now, when you come to my house, my doorbell sounds like this.
Hey, we are live. Welcome to the People's Weekly. I'm here with Canadian Glenn. Trying a new microphone, so hopefully I'm not peaking or too low or anything. So we're rolling with that today. What's up, Glenn?
Bonjour. I see that we're going to have to maybe get the Pope to complain to Twitter. I don't see the tweet up yet for this show. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about that before the show. It's a little issue, but I can solve it, kind of, I think.
That's, we'll just blame Twitter anyway. Like, what's your problem, Jack?
It's loading really slow. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to send a tweet to Twitter. Listen to the People's Weekly, April 13th. So yeah, there should be... Oh, no, it's doing it on my account. That sucks.
Well, whatever, as long as it did something.
So you know what I have to do now? Is I have to go over here, copy it, and post it to People's Weekly. And all the people that are gathering online, the 3 people, they're going to be waiting for a minute. And that sucks to be you. Here it goes. Paste and tweet. There. Oh my goodness. We're up and running now. Thank you for your patience, Celeb Scolder.
This is what happens, and this is how you know, yes, this is actually live.
I sound good on Twitch. I sound good everywhere. Anyway, thank you, Celeb, for telling me that. Yeah, I don't even want to do this show today, man. It's the same show we do the last few weeks. It's like we just do the same thing over and over again. Police murdering people. Nazis gathering. Insane people killing other people. Man. So what do you want to start with, Glenn?
The one thing I can say right off the bat is it's not because of us that we keep talking about the same stuff. That's for sure.
You sure we're not just one-trick ponies and trying to cover it up?
Trust the plan? No. No, I don't think so. But
well, let's do that. Since you said that, let's do that blurb first. Since you went with the QAnon bullshit. Yeah, I didn't know that. You told me. Let's start here. What happened was last week, there in where was it? Reseda.
Yep.
There was they found 3 children under the age of 3 stabbed to death, and I guess they were searching for the mother, and then they caught the mother, and that's what I heard of the story. I didn't know why she did it or any logic behind it. And then Glenn told me just before the show what he had heard about it. So why don't you fill in from there, Glenn?
Where does this come from again? Let me just get the source. Let's be proper about this here. This is...
National Enquirer.
No, it's actually CBS Los Angeles. So, KCAL. So that's where it's coming from. And, they're saying Liliana Carrillo, 30-year-old woman suspected of killing her 3 small children, is in custody following a chase into Kern County, where she's also accused of a carjacking, running from police. So I guess she has to be extradited back to LA County, which I don't understand, but whatever. But it goes on to say that there was somewhat of a custody issue as well going on with these kids. The husband was estranged, living elsewhere. People were worried about these kids being with this woman. There was a custody, it says here there was a custody battle. And it says the father's family said that the mother and the kids had been staying with her mother in Reseda after taking the children from their home in Northern California. So this woman has never received a psychological evaluation, but the family noticed she hadn't been well since giving birth to her second child. According to the family, things got even worse after her third pregnancy and the pandemic. And this is a quote from a source with the family. She believed that the city they were living in was unsafe and that there was a sex trafficking ring and that most of the city was involved in it. And she also believed that her children would be pulled into this sex trafficking ring. So, Pizzagate, QAnon, this is some real consequence of this sort of insanity.
Yeah, I mean, they go after the religious and the mentally ill because these people are more likely to believe the bullshit. And it was really sad. Now you got 3 dead kids.
Yep.
Because their mother, quote unquote, loved them enough to try to save them from some imaginary thing. There's been instances where it wasn't that long ago, a few years back, a woman drowned her children so they wouldn't go to hell. She was saving them from hell so they wouldn't grow up in sin. It's way out.
Yeah, that is extreme, no doubt.
So yeah, this stuff is dangerous. I see people online a lot. People you think are kind of cool, and then all of a sudden you see these little conspiracy theory things, these little Q-ish bullshit in their timelines, and it's like, wow, what are they doing? How do they not see through that? I mean, some of these are pretty intelligent people, or seemingly intelligent. I don't know how they get fooled by this. And I guarantee they'll be like, how are you not fooled by her? How are you deceived and not see it? Or, whatever. But the earth ain't flat, and there's no giant cabal of Satan worshiping baby eaters, child sex traffickers. The real ones are all amongst us. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I'm saying if you're looking for demons and devils and crazy, supernatural stuff and Illuminatis and this and that, you're not going to see what's really happening right in front of you. Matt Gaetz is a child sex trafficker. Matt DeHart was a child sex trafficker. There's people all over to do this, for various reasons. Some of them for business. They're like pimps or whatever, and there's other ones that are just sickos. Whatever the reason, has got to stop. And if you're over here looking for imaginary shit, you're not seeing what's really going on. So it's not going to stop. There was a cop that just got arrested for this. Or, no, he didn't even get arrested. He was not sex trafficking, but texting like really graphic content to a minor. So instead of firing him, they demoted him. This was like last week or the week before. Yes, it's, go after these people that are right here in front of us doing it. Politicians, congressmen, senators, people who own corporations, some of your neighbors maybe, I don't know, but there's a lot of people doing this, and none of them that they catch right now are in giant, Illuminati, cabal, devil worshiper, demons, baby eaters. Catch them when you get to them, but get the real ones first, you know? Dumb shit, man. It's just dangerous. These conspiracy theories are dangerous, and these people put them out because it serves a stupid political purpose of theirs. How do we stop it, Glenn?
I don't think you can stop the human fascination with zero-sum theory. There's just, whether it's flat-out nihilism or cult worship or whatever. I mean, you're never going to get rid of it, but you can sure as hell change the conditions where it's worth being heard, I mean, it's like anything else. It's like just for an example, if you live in a neighborhood that's quote unquote middle class, whatever the fuck that means, but then one house, suddenly somebody moves out, they put it up for rent, and say that becomes a nexus of criminal activity, which is something completely new to your neighborhood. The first thing that's going to happen is people are going to come up with all these theories like living in an inner city in Chicago or Philly or LA, and they're going to try and put that on everybody to get scared. And it's time to defend your neighborhood, this type of thing, Meanwhile, who knows? There could be 4 or 5 houses in that neighborhood that are very quietly either growing dope or moving weapons, handguns, or who knows fucking what. It's the United States. This is the real world, It's just so ridiculous that sooner or later, I think the United States is going to have to accept that for a long time, certain crimes by certain people under certain conditions have not been punishable in the U.S. courts for, basically forever.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever really want to come to that conclusion publicly, but, it's just ridiculous. You talk about somebody like Matt Gaetz now. Like, if he was where he looks like he should be, like head usher at a Cineplex or something along those lines, he'd already be like long fucking gone.
I don't know if he's qualified to tear my ticket. I'm sorry. I don't see it. That's why he's in politics. He's not qualified to do shit, right?
Well, yeah, that does meet the criteria. No shit. But
what do they say? Those that do, those that can do, those that can't do politics or something are politicians. Man, politicians suck. There's an account on Twitter, Rosita John. He said, APAB, all politicians are bastards. And then we kind of came to the conclusion that if that's the case, if all cops are bastards, all politicians are bastards, that means people like Alex Villanueva is a double bastard. Any elected sheriff, double bastard off the top.
That must be why they have so much fucking bling on their fucking uniforms. They're double bastards.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Each one of those medals just I can't exuberates the bastardicity Did I even
Yeah.
say that right? I don't know, but it sounded cool.
Yeah, works for me.
So yeah, whatever you do, people, don't exuberate bastard. Whatever the hell I just said.
Bastardidity.
Bastardidity. There it is.
That'll work.
Wow. So yeah, that sucks. And then, these kids are dead. They're gone. Their mom was probably mentally ill and was willing to believe, well, from what you said, you know what I mean? If they already noticed things wrong with her.
Yep.
And was willing to buy into these conspiracy theories and probably thought she was doing what was best to save her children from terrible, terrible stuff that wasn't real. It was only real in that imaginary world of conspiracy theories.
Well, I mean, there's a bigger question here, too. But, nobody really wants to talk about it. So, I mean, there was already something going on in court about custody of these kids.
Yeah.
The whole father side family knew about this stuff. And yet she was staying with her mother somewhere. I thought once upon a time, California had a fairly operational social services program, but, obviously over the last 20, 30 years, no.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I don't know before that, but yeah, as long as I know, and it's been full of issues and problems. But and maybe they get it right once in a while.
But nobody's going to bring that up, that because there's no fucking services to keep an eye on her or have her check in or anything, by the sounds of it, this is preventable. There's no question. These are preventable homicides.
Yeah, most definitely. A whole lot of homicides, many which we'll talk about today, were preventable. Like, let's see, they opened a couple weeks ago, they opened up stores all over the place for as many people as can cram up in there. And there was a shooting at a store. They opened up schools yesterday. There was a school shooting. We're getting back to normal real quick, Glenn. It's insane. It's really, really insane. So yeah. Oh, here, since we have a quiet moment.
People's Radio United.
There we go. No, it's just, again, I mean, the bigger picture. This just keeps happening. Keeps happening. Nothing changes. It's fucking insane. I mean, that would be like if your Alexa, if you couldn't disable reminders and you just wanted it to quit reminding you to do something and you couldn't turn it off, then you'd probably do it and then be able to get it to shut up. And it's kind of the same thing, It's the same damn thing every day. Just the location changes. Even the method doesn't seem to change so much anymore. There's certain similarities in just about all of these mass shootings now.
Well, the thing is, there's mass shootings for so many different reasons. Certain ones get more press. Yeah, I mean, if a racist guy goes in and tries to slaughter people, that's like a hate crime. All these other things added on as terrorism, they all should be kind of terrorism. Unless somebody's trying to save lives, I don't see why you have to mass shoot to save somebody's life, but whatever. But yeah, it's like they only talk about the cop that get killed.
Yeah.
Oh, they shot so many people in the cop. And then let's last year in this country to now, over 600,000 people, over 500,000 people died of coronavirus. A dang cop gets murdered by some mass shooter. Now guess what? All the flags are at half mast. Not for the 600,000 civilians that died, 700, what is it now? I don't even know. But they don't want you to know Biden's in charge now. It's all good.
Trust the plan.
Yeah, to trust the plan. So trust the blue plan, not the red plan. So yeah, it's so ridiculous, man. I'm totally lost. It's just it's the same thing over and over and over and over again. Like, a mass shooting is any shooting with what, 4 or more people, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Every day it happens multiple times. I guarantee you, in this whole country.
Yeah.
But it might be a family dispute. It might be a neighborly dispute. It might be some gang activity. It might be a mentally ill person. It might be a racist, white supremacist. It might be a Muslim or a Christian. Some religious, insane person. You know what I mean? Walking up in an abortion clinic or going into the place where they went into the gay club and shot up all them people. Or up in a church or a synagogue or a mosque. It's like, for all these different reasons, these people go and start mass shooting. And it never stops. It's just we don't hear about all of them all the time. And if we did, we'd probably be even more, like, people don't even care. Unless it gets a lot of news coverage, nobody cares. Cops are brutalizing people. I just walked out here earlier today. I think it was today, maybe it was yesterday. All these days are running together, Glenn. PTSD and lack of sleep is insane. So anyway, I posted it. But whenever it was, I go down the block, I see all these cop cars. I'm like, what's going on here? So I get down there and they're searching. I could see somebody's in one of the cars. There was like 6 cars. 3 of them left pretty much right when I was getting there. And they had a pile of bags and stuff, so I figured it was some homeless person probably. I filmed. The cops ain't really doing nothing. There's nobody there I can see because the windows are tinted. I'm just assuming either the dude left in one of the cars, because they had to arrest somebody to have his bike and all his stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So there was a security guard across the street at the synagogue right there. So I asked him, I said, did they arrest somebody? I go, did they take somebody's stuff or what? He's like, man. He's like, it was wild is what he said. He said they pushed the dude off the bike and slammed him into the ground. He said it was pretty excessive, and I didn't think it was really necessary. I said it seemed like really excessive. He was like, yeah, man. He goes, it was wild. That's what he kept saying. I was like, man. But I got there too late, so I didn't see all that. I'm just telling you what the security guard said.
Yeah, what about the cameras at the synagogue? Did it see it?
Probably not, but the cameras at the post office probably did. Maybe the pet supply store, but yeah, they're not going to give me post office cameras, homie. To prove the police did some terrible stuff.
The LAPD's already been there to check.
Yeah, for sure. That's, yeah.
Fucking rights, man. That's the secret.
So yeah, hey, let me do another plug real quick.
People's Radio United.
Because I forgot to tell everybody that's listening now. Last week we did more in 1 week than we did in the whole 8 months, as far as my non-objective opinion. So we did two my non-objective opinion shows. I listened back. I think they're both really good. Because of the guest, the host kind of sucks. But anyway, the first one was with William, who's this his handle is at Film the Police LA on Twitter and Instagram. And he talked about, I bet you'll never guess what he talked about, Glenn.
Well, you can't ask me because I listened to it.
Oh yeah. Well, no, he talked about filming the police and holding them accountable, and he also talked about why. See, I think before I did that show, I talked about it on this show with you, and I think I gave my reasons why I don't want to report the police, but I'll threaten to do it, but I never really follow through. Because to me, it's like snitching and working with police, even if it's... But here's what he said on this show. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, yeah. What you're saying is you have to go through them to report them. Yeah, and that sucks. That's part of the fucking roadblock process. But, as William told you, go ahead.
Yeah, as he told me, well, he gave me, I don't want to blow it. You guys go listen to this show so I can make YouTube money. Oh, I didn't even use the song, so no, nobody gets paid. Haha. Go listen to the show for free. No, no advertising. But no, so yeah, what he said, he gave a logical reason why you should report them. And he said that they legally, if you make the report via social media, it's a valid report. So just attach a report with the video and a picture, you know what I mean, and a video, and tag it to whichever PD in your area, at least with LA, so you could do any LAPD precinct or whatever. So the reasoning behind it was, I'm going through this real messed up and all around the place. But the reasoning behind it is that if a cop, if they look, they're going to have an online database one day of all these corrupt police and all the times they've had complaints. And why not start now getting those complaint folders full? Because even little things, it's just like, oh, now this guy has all these complaints. You know, he doesn't look so awesome right now. It might hold him back. It might, you know, whatever. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. But it's better to have him and not need him than to need him and not have him.
Yep.
So, yeah, we did that show. And a couple of days later, I had our good friend Bushido Squirrel, who's an activist, street medic, podcaster, what do they call those? A Renaissance man or something? Okay. Yeah, he does it all. But yeah, he was on the show talking about specifically street medics and their role in activism and their role just being in the community, helping people when there's not a protest going on. And he talked about things that all activists should have on them and things that street medics should have. It was a really good show, really informative. He also sent me a downloadable link to this thing called Black Cross Medics, and it just has a bunch of information in it. Some of it's pretty basic, some of it's not so basic, but it's probably good to go and download and read through and make sure you're up to date on, you know what's going on with everything. There's nothing you missed. If you're going to be out there, do it right. Information is power. So yeah, it's already up on my Twitter and People's Radio Twitter, so you can just download it from there. It's just a link. You click on it, download the thing, read through it. It's like a PDF or Acrobat or whatever you want it to be. So yeah, so go back and listen to those. They're on My Non-Objective Opinion. You can get there through peoplesradiounited.com. They're on our YouTube channel. They're on our Twitch. I hear police outside. That sucks. Did you hear that, Glenn?
Yep.
Oh, see, this mic doesn't do what I thought it did. No, I got the gain boosted up because... Never mind, no technical stuff right now. We'll work on that later. So yeah, back to the police, I guess. I was gonna segue in from the film The Police show into the police, all the crazy stuff they've been doing this week.
I'll just throw in though about Bushido Squirrel. I mean, anybody who has been to real protests, and I mean real protests, they haven't been happening for quite a while. Either from back in Occupy Wall Street days or anything else for that matter, Black Lives Matter, the Women's March, whatever it may be. Real protesters understand the value of a competent street medic. They are vital. And I salute anybody who takes on that role. And the ones who do it really good are invaluable, you know? They literally can make the difference. Not just in tending to people who get injured, but the good street medics are always more than that. They're watching the entire development of what's going on. The best street medics prevent people from going somewhere they're going to get hurt because they don't know any better, you know? So, yeah, I got a lot of respect for him and everybody like him that's for real doing that task.
Yeah, he's been doing it a long, long while. Like the last time he was on here was during Occupy ICE. We were talking about that at the beginning of the show. That was a couple years ago, over 2 years ago. And he's been doing it before that as well. You know what I mean? That's just, that's just when he started coming on the show. We ain't been around that long on People's Radio.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this week was insane with police mayhem and terrorism. These pigs have gone crazy. Let's see. Let's start with something the milder stuff before we go up to the blatant murders. They had one dude. This was LAPD, I believe. Got a call, some white dude with some domestic violence thing, and some white dude was messing with his ex-girlfriend around her house or something. So they show up. There's a black dude taking out his trash. That's one of the neighbors. They say, "Is that the guy?" And he's like, "Yeah, probably." So they swoop up. They're telling this guy to hang on, just calm down as we cuff you in front of your house for no reason. I won't tell you why. He's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Other people start coming out, white people, saying, "Oh, that's not him." I think the woman who called them came out and goes, "That's not him." But it didn't matter because now he, quote unquote, resisted arrest and messed with their authority or whatever. I believe there's a lawsuit going on over this. And this happened a while back. The video came out. That's how you know these things you find out months later. These things happen. Weeks later, months later, in some cases, years later. So, yeah, so they did that. Then there's this military dude. We just said his name before the show.
In Virginia.
Yes.
Lieutenant Caron Nazario.
Caron Nazario. So, yeah, so this dude, they pull him over and try to force him. They pull him over at gunpoint, try to pull him out the car for no reason. He's just asking what he did. And they try to drag him out the car, and they mace him or pepper spray him, whatever the hell they used, chemicals on his face. Dragged him out the car, slammed him to the ground, basically brutalized him, terrorized him. The cat said, "Hey, I'm scared to get out the car." And the cop's like, "You should be. Get out the car." How is that reassuring in any way?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, there's no excuse for it. I mean, if you would have went to the Rambo movies, then anytime you would have saw the bad guys, the Mujahideen, they'd all pull up in a Jeep with AKs and you know, and just fuck with people for no reason. Well, that's exactly what these cops are doing. It's the same goddamn thing. So imagine what it's like for people in Baghdad or in Kabul just trying to get around. And this is the kind of shit they get put on them. And a lot of times it's not even by somebody in a U.S. Army uniform. It's a fucking mercenary contractor. So yeah, just be thankful in the U.S. that they're not a private company yet. You know, that's about all I can say when I look at this. It's insane.
I'm just saying there's another lawsuit on this one. So I'm just hoping.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm hoping this guy being in the military thinks about this. If he has to be deployed somewhere else, you know. I think he might be a medic or whatever, but still, you know, pass the wisdom on. Like, maybe it's not good to use your authority and your guns to brutalize people just for trying to live their life, whether it's in this country or another country, because that's what they are. They're like the brutal terrorist cops of the world. We got the PDs in the country to terrorize us within the country, and National Guard sometimes, and then people who meet people from the United States abroad are getting brutalized by soldiers and mercenaries and quote-unquote contractors and whatever else.
Yeah.
Doing what the police do here times 1,000 sometimes. Because they got bombs. The police here don't have bombs. I mean, they got things that explode, but you know what I mean? As far as I know, they're not dropping bombs out of the sky on people, I hope. I'm not saying those days aren't. Yeah, I'm not saying those days might not eventually come. But right now, yeah, return exactly. So yeah, then we move. Let us move on.
Well, I just want to add that everybody in the Virginia Department of Justice, top to bottom, is really talking hard line on these two cops. So, you know, and I mean, this is an issue because
one of them resigned. You talking about the two that pulled the military guy out?
Yeah.
One of them resigned already, or he was fired, I think.
But here's the thing. This is in Virginia. The Department of Defense does billions of dollars in Virginia every year, like clockwork. Now, this is a Biden White House now. And they know how to make states do what they want. They fuck them on the bottom line. And I don't think if the Virginia state authorities kind of tried to sweep this under the carpet, they don't want Merrick Garland showing up like Robert Kennedy did in another era. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because this guy is serving, he's active duty, he's an officer, and he's a man of color. Well, if this isn't the 21st century poster for what we're going to make America look like, still militaristic as fuck, but, you know, we look different. Trust us.
He lived to tell about it.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes when it gets that far, it's just over no matter what. Especially for a black dude. I mean, we've seen the ones like someone was saying something the other day. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, I was like, Kelly Thomas got brutalized. It just happens more with black people.
Yeah.
But some white person's child could be out there and get brutalized just as bad, get murdered just as bad, and it has happened before. It just happens less. You see what I'm saying? A lot less, because the cops aren't going crazy. You know, they're not like, oh, this is a thug. I gotta step it up. I gotta have my gun ready just in case. There's not that racism fueling the stop. You know what I mean? And he might be getting stopped for an actual reason rather than no reason at all, or the one we're going to talk about now for a little air freshener hanging from his mirror, you know?
Yeah.
So the next dude, this is really a lot. All these hashtags, every day another hashtag, another 3 hashtags, another 10 hashtags. People murdered by the United States of America. People murdered by the state. Hashtag after hashtag. I had to look up these names. I can't remember them all, man. Tomorrow there'll be more. You know what I mean? How that shouldn't be something that's normal, man.
Exactly. I mean, being able to quite predictably say that, by this time tomorrow, the total number of people,
Duante Wright.
Up. Yeah.
So, yeah, this dude, did you see that video? Man.
20 years old.
Yeah. So he goes and the police pull him over for having an air freshener hanging from his mirror. That's why they pulled him over. They trying to cuff him and brutalize him. He's scared. So what's he going? He's going to try to get away. He's on the phone with his mom. His girlfriend was in the car, I believe. He tries to mash out, and this pig screams, "Taser, taser, taser, taser," and then blasts on him. Gives him like one shot, kills him. And it's like, oh shoot, I thought I had my taser. That's what that Meslinger Nazi scum said when he murdered Oscar Grant, man. And then I looked online. Somebody posted a whole, like 4 or 5 different articles where cops have said, "Oops, I thought my gun was my taser, and I accidentally murdered somebody or shot somebody." And they get off every time, with the exception of Oscar Grant. And he didn't get any real time.
No.
And yes, he's a Nazi. You know why? Because he went and hid with white supremacists. That's why I'm telling you he's a Nazi.
Well, again, this is one more unnecessary, extrajudicial killing by police. But I do find the one who pulled the trigger to be rather, I don't know if it's irony or if it's just flat out satire of who this cop is.
Yes, Kimberly Potter.
Yeah.
I had that ready to go. That's the one thing I did have ready. I didn't want people to not know who these murderers are.
This one is something else, man.
She has been on the force for 25 years. She's a 25-year veteran of the police force, and she is president of the police union. Yet she can't tell the difference between her taser and her gun.
Well, the thing is, no, but the thing is, like you mentioned, how many times that defense has already been used in the past, and here she is, the president of the cop union, and she has represented other officers involved in deadly shootings, and now she needs an excuse. And this is just such a blatant abuse of power. Could you take her to court and say what you are doing by using your knowledge and power as president of the police union? We think, you're not on the level. This is bullshit. Could you ever convict her of that in court? Probably not. But, what does it look like?
Negligent manslaughter, you could convict her of. Come on, man. You should have those on separate sides. They don't feel the same. Totally different weights. Her life wasn't in jeopardy in any way, shape, or form. There was cops between her and the other person.
Of course not.
She had to tell them to move so she could blast.
Of course.
That's why she screamed, "Taser, taser, taser." And I believe, I'm trying to find it right now. That's what I'm looking for. But I believe, man. Why don't people stop saying things to me on Twitter? so I can find the one I'm looking for. No, I believe it was our good friend Jitterbug here on Twitter, but I'm not for sure. But somebody, I think it was them, said that's kind of like when they scream, "Stop resisting! Stop resisting! Stop resisting!"
Yep.
And there was another one they were talking about. There was a video. It was like real close with the. I don't know the video they were talking about. I mean, I probably do, but I can't recall it because there's so many. But they said it was from what I'm understanding, it was a body cam video of the cop, and the dude was just sitting there with his hands like by the steering wheel, and the cop kept screaming, "He has a gun! He has a gun! He has a gun!" or "Drop the gun!" or something. But he didn't have a gun. He was just, in the video, when you see it, he's just sitting there like, "What are you saying that for?" So yeah, it's you kind of wonder maybe. Was she saying taser, taser, taser to cover herself in case she had to shoot? That's something they train them. Maybe she does that all the time when she pulls her gun.
Who knows? But I mean, the
We
thing is,
we should look at videos where she pulls her gun and see what kind of stuff she does.
well, I have no idea what the laws are like there to get access to that kind of archive.
I mean, somebody needs to investigate these people. I don't trust them. And even
No,
if it was,
absolutely
even if
not.
she legitimately thought that, then sorry, you're fired. You're going to jail for a while.
I'll tell you what. This is the way it works here where I live, and I'm pretty sure it's the way it works there too. If me, as an electrician, turn something on that kills somebody, and they had no clue it was going to happen, that would be my last day ever working as an electrician anywhere. And if an occupational investigation said there was negligence, I'd be going to court for manslaughter. Guaranteed. And that's as an electrician. So I don't give a shit if this president of the cop union did whatever. It doesn't matter. Something that is your basic function, you completely fucked up, somebody's dead. You're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah. And I believe this is the one that happened. I think they said it was like 10 miles from where the
Yep.
Derek Chauvin trials are going on.
Yep.
They just don't stop, man. They just don't stop. I seen a video somebody posted. Some dude, it said he had a replica gun. It wasn't a real gun. And the dude was having a mental health crisis. These pigs is over there saying, "Hey, buddy, come on, we're trying to work with you." They got guns aimed at him the whole time. Put down the gun, blah, 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 and then just pop. He shoots the dude. The dude says, "Kill me then," or something. And like right when he says it, he shoots him. Like, okay. But here's the thing. Okay, I don't know. It was hard to see. I was looking at my phone. It was a little tiny thing. I have issues with Instagram. Like, you can't really watch a video on it or see something. You can just see a little square, but whatever. That's another issue for another day. But yeah, but then the thing was, after that, what do? They go over there, say, "Roll over," and cuff him up.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if we're ever lucky enough to come across a cop that got shot squirming on the ground, first thing I'm going to do is run over there, grab his handcuffs, and cuff him up. Kick his guns all out the way. Because evidently that's the proper thing to do, right?
Yeah, you would think so.
I mean, I learned from them.
Yeah.
If you listen to the show with Squirrel about street medics, he talks about cops all have a pretty good level, basic to professional level of knowledge of medical care. Like, they're supposed to be able to save a life, right? Like, they know CPR, they know basic first aid. But yeah, they just cuff the dude up and stand around and wait for the ambulance to come. That just seems odd to me. So I guess that's the proper way to do it when you're dealing with them too, I hope.
Just you're securing the area.
Yeah.
No problem.
Somehow
man.
I think they have a problem with that, but I say, hey, I learned it from y'all. I thought it was a proper thing to do. Yeah, they're just disgusting, man. Why are you cuffing the dude up? You just shot him. Take his gun away from him. You don't got to cuff him up. How hard is it to get air if you're laying on your stomach face down, cuffed up, and you're shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem... Man. And then I know there's one I'm missing. There was a whole bunch of them this week. Oh, man, I can't even... It's too many. It's like I said, it's constant hashtags.
Well, the only thing I wonder is how much longer can it go on?
Until somebody stops it. And by somebody, I mean a large group of people spread out across the whole nation, just fed up with it. Today's the day we stop it. And we ain't going to stop stopping it until it stops.
I did read that, remember when they burned the 3rd precinct in Minneapolis?
Yes, I cherish that day in my memory forever.
And they arrested somebody for it, and it turns out it was a Boogaloo boy who was dressed up as, quote-unquote, Antifa. He got convicted.
Yeah. Yep. But see, that's what I'm saying. I don't care. Like if the Nazis and the police went to war and the Nazis attacked the police and the police killed the Nazis, I'd be cheering them on, eating popcorn. Get them all. Whoever wins, there's a lot less of them now. We can go take them out. We can slowly walk down the hill and wipe them all out because they'll be multi-outnumbered and tired from battling each other. I want the Nazis and police to go to war. I want mass casualties. That's why I was like, I didn't care about the Capitol riot. It's fascists fighting fascists, trying to attack fascists and protect fascists. It's not my fight.
Well, I think the issue is the state has next to no qualms about silencing humanitarian, I'm not going to say left or socialist because that word doesn't mean anything to me in the United States. But if you're interested in social policy and you're not really into this hyper monetized way you're forced to live, you know, that's one thing. But it's going to be so hard to change anything without the entire machine coming down. It's starting to look that way to me.
I told you so.
Is that just going to scare people off? Because that's a good strategy. We are too monolithic. Don't even fucking bother. You know? I mean, you would expect to hear that on a podcast from Dr. Sebastian Gorka.
Let's stop saying his name. I hate that guy. You know what? Oh, man.
You started it.
Yeah, they weren't listening to that today, oddly enough, which was cool with me. They're listening to some tacky music, which is always better than fascist radio. Yeah, this whole thing, like I just, like I say, wipe each other out. When your enemies are fighting your enemies, that's always wondrous. The problem is, no matter what happens, they still stick together. Like Nazis will kill cops. Nazis will kill cops. Nazis will kill cops. The Nazis will have a rally and the cops will go over there and chill with them and fight everybody else to protect them. And then Nazis will go have a rally and kill some more cops. Nazis will kill some people. The cops will do their best to protect them. Lie for them, do whatever. And then the Nazis will kill a cop. It's like, what is this weird thing? Just because they say blue lives matter? They all had Trump flags. Why on this weekend when they had all white supremacist rallies?
Yeah.
They still hold the Trump flags up. That should tell you something. You got this was a literal white supremacist. It was Klan and Nazis. Like, they weren't hiding it. There was swastikas everywhere, KKK logos. They were screaming every racial epithet in the book. You could look at the videos. They were threatening people. Some of them got lumped up pretty bad, got ran up out of there too. That was funny. But yeah, these were the racist, the proud white supremacists, the proud Nazis, like with the swastikas on them. They were the ones out there. And they had Trump flags. That should really tell you something. This guy really just enabled them. Just in 4 years. They crawled out from under all their little rocks. They're like, the president's with us. That's insane. And it was all just, like, they should love Biden, in my opinion. I don't see why they don't. Trump just says the racist stuff. Biden does the racist stuff. Trump does the racist stuff too, but do they really need they just need it to be like in your face? No, we can't have that passive racism. It's got to be full on, full force aggressive racism where we're not with it.
Yep.
It's just dumb. Like, we got one party is just how racist the speech is, basically. Biden doing the same things. They just frame it differently. These
That's
immigrant
just it,
detention centers are so we can humanely take care of the children. And Trump is just like concentration camps. Nothing's changed but the narrative, you know?
But the thing is, the corporate media just falls in line. It's like, oh, new boss. Okay, what do we do? You know, for the most part, I mean, the stuff that sprung up during Trump's term, stuff like OAN and Newsmax, they're not going anywhere. They got a foothold now. And, you know, the American way, they're going to fight to expand. But all the mainstream just basically fell in line.
Well, because they're all owned by the same people that own the government.
But, you know, I mean, remember how everybody used to obsess about what Fox said? Not so much anymore. Why? They're still just as fucking batshit crazy over there. But it just...
Oh, go ahead.
It just seems like it's not important that you know anymore. You know?
They've been talking about Tucker Carlson all week. He evidently decided to go ahead and start talking about the Great Replacement, but in his skillful way where he says white supremacist slogans, but changes them to where it's like he takes out the harshness and just kind of rewords them so they sound kinder and gentler.
So, bake sale racism.
Basically, yeah. He'll use the right words that the racists know, but he'll try to make it sound a little different. So he's like, I'm not racist. What are you talking about? Look at my face. I look too confused to be racist. I don't know why I think Tucker Carlson sounds like Morty, but he does. Man.
Well, there's only one fact anybody really needs to consider when they're discussing Tucker Carlson. Remember, he's the one who went to court and said that how could anybody take what he says seriously anyway? So how can he be sued for defamation?
There was a certain wording to that. I'm trying to remember it right now.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what he did.
How can any reasonable person take what I have to say literally or seriously or something? Yeah, and this has worked for different Fox hosts as well.
Oh yeah, Glenn Beck. There's your granddaddy of this type of shit.
Yeah. But like no reasonable person would take what I'm saying seriously. So, you know, when they say that, think what they're saying about their audience, who definitely takes what they say seriously.
Yeah, but this is also their audience that probably 1 out of 5,000 will actually look up the court record or read the sources that will report that. So
because,
it's
yeah,
a
their
calculated
only source
risk.
of news is Fox, Newsmax, and OAN, right?
Well, pretty much. That's what they're counting on. Yeah. I mean, it's to their demo. That's it. They don't give a shit about everybody else. And they're concerned with revenue, not information. So, yeah. Tally ho.
Oh, we haven't been on since DMX died, so R.I.P. DMX. That was sad news, man. I kind of thought it was coming, unfortunately. I mean, I'm a realist. They said he was in a coma and he was doing bad. But dang, man, I was just rooting for him to pull through. DMX is one of those legendary cats, you know? You know about him up in Canada, or you just know about Drake?
DMX is he kind of has the same position, in my opinion, as somebody like Henry Rollins does to Punk. You know, he's just a guy that's been through every fucking battle there is in the industry.
Yeah.
And it was still the industry that had to have him. It wasn't him that had to have the industry.
Yeah.
You know? I mean,
both those individuals are really unique people.
Yeah. You know, I see him the same way. And I watched some of his stuff. I think there was a special that he did. I think it was on HBO. Who knows when? Well, it was pretty much a spoken word thing. And he said a lot of
DMX or Henry Rollins?
No, DMX.
Oh, okay.
And he said a lot of fucking really good stuff. Reality. Total reality.
Man, his mind was like a tape recorder. Like I've seen videos of him. He'd be with another artist and he'd just do their verse like boom, exactly the same, and then he go. He just knew music, I guess, or the stuff that inspired him. It was like, wow. I can't remember all the words of all these songs.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was unexpected, that's for sure.
Yeah, he was like a really cool, lovable asshole. Wowzers. Yeah, that one was kind of sad, man. Real sad. Like, wow. Hello? Oh.
What?
I'm writing the mute button, so sometimes I accidentally hold it down when I'm talking. I think I did it 2 or 3 times. If the mic had worked the USB before the show, if we'd been able to test it out and get the routing straight, I could have just touched this nice little button that has the mic with a circle line through it. You just touch it and it gets red and it's muted, and then when it's not red, it's not muted. But nope. I tried to go by faith and believe everything was going to work properly before the show. Faith never works.
You're really determined to make an issue out of this button, aren't you?
And it's like a feature, you know what I mean? Like when I got the mic, I was like, that's a feature that I really like. It wasn't the reason I got the mic. It was just an extra feature, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I like that. And then I started to grow on me when I looked at it. It's like, I'm touching it right now. But nothing's happening because I'm going through XLR instead of USB. I'm interested to listen back and see how it sounds.
All right.
So, yeah, what did we miss?
Sponsors.
No, was there something? But I thought there was something else. Hang on. I'm trying to look here. Before the show, we talked about, what did we say? There was something somebody said. I just really feel like we're missing something, y'all. I'm going to check the chats because I just kind of ignore them. Nothing new's going on. Where's Smoker?
He's busy.
Yeah. I can imagine. He's going through some things.
No,
But you gotta wonder about somebody that's too busy to listen to our show. Like, there's nothing more important. I don't care. I don't care who just got hit by a car. We're talking about our show. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, I figured like we need to push it more. Like, you know, I watch the media sometimes. Like you listen to the news, they'll be like, if you don't know about, if you use these products, you could die right away. We'll tell you more about it 11 p.m. Stay tuned. So yeah, you know, if you're not listening to our show, you're doing it wrong. Anything could happen to you. An airplane could fall on your head. So you need to listen to our show.
But we're not going to be back at 11.
No, but we'll be back on next Tuesday. Probably. Sometime around 4-ish p.m. or 7-ish p.m. Well, depending on where you are. Could even be like midnight-ish p.m.
For the Pope.
Yeah. So what are we doing? Are we gonna do sponsors? No, I can't find it. I'm looking through everything here trying to see. Oh man. Oh, 420 is coming up. Well, we could just do that with the sponsors. 420 is coming up next week.
Oh wow. A
So,
show
yeah,
on 420.
Is that on a Tuesday? It is on a Tuesday. So wow, yeah. We get to do a show where we actually smoke reefer during the show. Could you imagine that?
See, now there you go. Now that's a sell. There you go. You set up the next week episode right there.
It's going to be like Cheech and Chong, but with Glenn and me. And it'll be on the radio and not on, you know, not in the movie theater. And it probably won't be funny. It'll probably be sad because we'll probably be talking about the same crap we always are forced to talk about. I want to get to next Tuesday without any more violence from any more police across this whole nation. You think that's even possible?
No.
What if everybody that's listening right now prayed about it?
I don't think that's going to be enough to shift it. No.
Well, tell your friends to listen next week. We're going to start a prayer thing to end police violence because that seems to be all that's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dear Lord, strike all the cops down with lightning now so we can make it to next week without any more police violence. Do you hear thunder coming from the southern border, Glenn?
I don't hear shit up here.
Oh, man. God's not working again. He's out of order. Oh, well. We got to do sponsors now, I guess. I'm just rambling because the wax is kicking in. Hang on, let me find a sponsor or song.
See, you're selling really good. You just teased right there. It's excellent. Oh, yeah.
Hello.
There it is.
Why did I mute everything? Oh, you know why? Because earlier it was playing and I had to stop it and I didn't want to go stand up because I was lazy, so I just hit the button. So go on sponsor time, Glenn.
Well, I have some new stock. Went back to an old favorite, MK Ultra. Can't go wrong.
Nice.
But today's show sponsor is another tried and true sponsor, Gorilla Glue 4.
Super nice. Yeah, today's sponsor right now with the wax is Lava Cake. Here, try some with me. It tastes like if they made cake out of lava. So yeah, not false advertising.
There you go.
So yeah, oh, GG4. That's usually awesome. It's indoor?
Yep.
You can't go wrong with that.
That's kind of what I figured.
I muted myself for the big one when I choked. Yeah, we're gonna do. Well, go ahead. What?
This whole thing here is turning into a sell for what you dropped about the Cheech and Chong thing. So it's all fitting together, man. This is just
so. Let's
over a lot of people.
Okay, so now that the show's basically over, we're gonna do behind the scenes, and we're gonna, cause we're all family here, man. Everybody listening, you're all family. You're all involved in this show, like. So we're gonna tell you what we're gonna do, and you're gonna sit back and listen. So next week, Glenn, this is our production meeting. Are we gonna have like a weed themed show, or what are we gonna do?
It's 420.
And what does that mean?
It means
we are gonna have a weed themed show.
It's 420, man. There's only one topic.
So we're not gonna talk about anything other than the reefer.
Well, I can't say that for sure. I'm not the producer. Why is this on me?
Okay, you know, every week we meet for 6 hours in these meetings on Zoom and we go over the show. Well, now we're just kind of letting the audience in on what we do every week. They're just going to get a little taste that we're not doing 6 hours right now, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, we have the cameras going back and forth, and I have a whiteboard, and I'm showing Glenn, like, this is segment 1 right here, and we move here. And I'm like, Glenn, but always remember, you're the talent, and you have to remember, we got to make it look natural. We got to make it like we don't have anything put together ahead of time. We want to make it look just willy-nilly, even though it's so structured. And I think we do a good job of that.
I think as far as a reverse psychology program goes, that's not bad. It's not bad.
Oh, listen, the music stopped. That's awesome.
See? It's trying to tell you something.
People's Radio United.
Anything else you want to say before we go?
Police, quit killing people. Full stop.
For real. Yeah, we'll do something weed themed next show. But hopefully we won't have to talk about more hashtags, more people's names, more people's lives lost due to state violence. It's bad enough we have civilian on civilian violence. But how are we going to, the state's killing people. It's not good because that's my tax dollars paying them to to kill people, to cover it up, to brutalize people. And then it's my tax dollars again paying paying the victims the restitution, which they should get, but it should come out of police pensions, should come out of their military budgets, not from the people. So yeah, we ain't said nothing we ain't said before, just new hashtags, new names, new circumstances, same old state-sanctioned violence and murder against the people.
That's just it. Everything is new except for the result. That's always the same.
Yeah, just new faces, new people, new pigs. Same BS. So on that note, goodbye to you people on Twitch. Thank you for listening, Celeb. And what's his name? Pope John Robertson. And thank you to the billions of people listening on Spreaker. We're out as soon as I hit these buttons.